I told you to clean this mess. How dare you?
It burns.
Madam, please stop.
She poured boiling oil on her and laughed. That's what the chef said later, trembling. She didn't know. The waitress wasn't really a waitress, because that quiet girl she tried to humiliate, she wasn't there to serve dinner. She was there to serve justice. The Montgomery mansion gleamed under the city's nightlights, a palace of gold and glass where money walked and kindness died. Inside, the annual charity gala buzzed with fake laughter, designer perfume, and champagne that cost more than most people's rent. At the head of it all stood Isabella Montgomery, wife of real estate tycoon Richard Montgomery, a woman who smiled only when others bowed. She believed in two things: that money made her untouchable, and that people like Naomi didn't belong anywhere near her table. Naomi Carter stepped into the mansion kitchen just after sunset. Her uniform was spotless, her hair neatly tied, and her face calm. Too calm. "First night?" asked another waitress nervously. Naomi nodded. "Yeah, just want to do my job right." But deep inside, she wasn't there to serve plates. She was there to dig up something much darker. Isabella swept into the kitchen like a storm in silk. Her diamond earrings sparkled like ice. Her red lips curved into the kind of smile that could cut glass. "Who made this?" she snapped, pointing at a tray of appetizers. The head chef froze. "Ma'am, Before he could answer, Naomi stepped forward quietly. "I did, ma'am." Isabella's eyes narrowed. "You?" Naomi nodded, standing tall. "Yes, ma'am." For a moment, Isabella just stared. Then she let out a cold laugh. How adorable. The new girl thinks she can cook. The other staff lowered their eyes. They knew better than to speak. Isabella leaned closer, voice dripping with venom. "Next time, leave the seasoning to people who understand taste." Naomi didn't respond. She simply bowed her head and went back to work, her silence louder than any argument. An hour later, as laughter and piano music filled the ballroom, Isabella stormed back into the kitchen again. She was fuming, her lipstick smeared, her eyes flashing. "My guests say the main course is too salty," she hissed. "Are you trying to make me look stupid?" Naomi calmly turned down the stove's heat. "No, ma'am. Just following the recipe." Isabella stepped forward, her voice rising. "Don't talk back to me. You're just a waitress. Know your place." Naomi looked up, her eyes calm, steady. "With respect, ma'am, I know exactly who I am." That one sentence, simple, quiet, struck something raw in Isabella. Her face twisted with rage. "Oh, you think you're better than me, huh?" She grabbed the pan beside her, oil sizzling, bubbling, and before anyone could react, she flung it forward. Hot oil splashed across the counter, burning through the air. Naomi jerked back, but some drops hit her arm. The kitchen went silent. Naomi clenched her jaw, pain flashing in her eyes. But she didn't scream. She didn't cry. She just stared straight at Isabella. "I forgive you," she whispered, "but you'll regret this." That night, after the guests had gone and the laughter faded, Naomi stayed behind to clean, but her real work was just beginning. She slipped off her apron, revealing a hidden recorder clipped to the inside. Every word Isabella had said, every insult, even the moment she threw the oil, caught in clear audio. Naomi pulled out her phone and opened a folder marked Montgomery Files, Evidence. It wasn't just about what happened tonight. It was about what happened years ago. Naomi's father, Samuel Carter, had been a construction foreman for Montgomery Estates, one of their best. Until one night, the scaffolding collapsed at one of Richard's luxury building sites. 6 men died. Official report blamed worker error, but Naomi knew better. Her father had filed a complaint weeks before the incident, warning about faulty equipment, and ignored safety standards. Days later, he was dead, and every family affected was paid hush money. Naomi was 17 at the time. She swore she would find the truth. She studied. She worked her way up. She joined a private investigative unit specializing in corporate fraud, and when her agency finally got a tip that the Montgomerys still had hidden files connected to those deaths, she volunteered. "Let me go undercover," she said. "They'll never suspect a waitress." The next morning, Naomi was called into Isabella's private lounge. The billionaire's wife was sipping coffee, calm now. Too calm. "I could have fired you last night," Isabella said smoothly, "but I didn't. Do you know why?" Naomi stayed silent. "Because people like you amuse me," Isabella continued. "You're like stray dogs, always hoping someone will throw you scraps." Naomi's eyes lifted. "Maybe, but sometimes the dog bites back." Isabella smirked. "Careful, dear. You don't want to make me angry again." Naomi leaned forward, her voice steady. "I'm not afraid of you." For the first time, Isabella looked unsettled. "Why are you really here?" Naomi smiled faintly. "To finish what my father started," and with that, she pulled a small USB drive from her pocket, the one she'd copied from Richard's office computer last night. Isabella's face drained of color. "What did you do?" Naomi stood. "I found the reports your husband buried. The safety violations, the bribes, the deaths you paid to hide. You're lying." Naomi's tone didn't waver. "No, ma'am. You were lying. For years." Within hours, the recordings and files hit the media. Every major outlet carried the headline, "Montgomery Empire Exposed." Whistleblower reveals corporate cover-up. The video of Isabella's oil attack went viral. Her laughter, her cruelty, seen by millions. Protests erupted outside their company headquarters. Families of the dead workers demanded justice. Isabella tried to hide behind her lawyers. Richard tried to flee the country, but it was too late. The empire they built on greed and silence collapsed in weeks. A few days later, Naomi was invited to speak at a public hearing. Her arm was still bandaged, but her voice was steady. "I didn't come for revenge," she said softly. "I came for truth. My father believed no life was worth more than another. He died proving that, and no amount of money should buy silence." The crowd rose in applause, and for the first time in years, Naomi felt peace. Isabella Montgomery was sentenced to community service and fined millions in damages. Richard faced prison time for corruption and fraud. The workers' families received full compensation. The construction sites were rebuilt under new management. Naomi, she went back to her quiet life, using her settlement to open a foundation for victims of corporate injustice. She called it the Carter Truth Initiative. Months later, Naomi walked through a city park, wind in her hair, coffee in hand. A little boy was selling flowers near the fountain. "Ma'am," he said shyly, "would you like one?" She smiled, handing him $1. "Sure, but keep the change." For courage, he beamed. "Thank you." As she walked away, the camera would linger, soft sunlight on her bandaged arm, now almost healed. Her voiceover would echo softly. "She thought I came to serve her food, but I came to serve her justice." Sometimes, cruelty wears diamonds. Sometimes, justice wears an apron, and sometimes, the person they try to humiliate is the one who brings their empire to its knees, because power built on injustice always falls, especially when truth walks through the door wearing a waitress uniform.